Hey, what's up guys? It's Tweedy. I'm a professional Mortal Kombat player from the United States. I have 2 EVO medals and various tournament wins under my belt. Today I'm going to be showing you how to fight against Mileena. Before we start, be sure to subscribe to DashFight and check out their website for all things FGC. A little background on Mileena: she's a creation of Shang Tsung and an adopted daughter of Shao Kahn. Her first appearance as a playable character was in Mortal Kombat 2. She has been a part of the main roster in most Mortal Kombat games. However, in Mortal Kombat 11, she was a DLC character added in late 2020. Today I'm going to be showing you what to look out for versus her, how to expose gaps, and general strategies that will help you get more wins against Mileena players. Mileena is a very well-rounded character in this game. She has fast dashes, a fast projectile, good pokes, good jump-ins, and very solid block pressure with her meter burn size. The variation moves Mileena players tend to use are her command grab, her extended strings, and rolling thunder. One of Mileena's biggest weaknesses is her anti-air game. She basically has to rely on movement or floss blocking to anti-air due to her either bad hitboxes or slow startup on her go-to anti-air buttons. Another weakness that you can abuse is her lack of a 7-frame full combo punisher. As you can see, her jab startup is 8 frames. So if you have a -8 string that you're normally afraid to finish on block, have no fear against Mileena. Her biggest weakness overall, though, is her inability to establish mind games after ball roll versus breakaway. You can break away immediately after ball roll, and she cannot use her armor breaking command grab in time. So while Mileena is a high damage character in general, her unbreakable damage without fatal blow is incredibly low. It's among the lowest in the cast. So when it comes to things not to do against Mileena, a big one is not breaking against air conversions, because while her grounded damage is not very good unbreakable, she can get the command grab off on an air conversion and read when you're going to break and get a huge crushing blow, as you can see. So keep that in mind. Break against a grounded combo against Mileena, but not against an air conversion. Another thing against Mileena that I would suggest is to not take too many throws, because unlike a character like Frost, Mileena gets pressure off of both her forward throw and her command grab. As you can see, leaves you very close to her. Same with the command grab. Another thing about her throws is she has a crushing blow on her forward throw that I believe gives 30%. And the way that you get the crushing blow is you don't go airborne or get knocked down for 10 seconds. Now, one thing to note with that is a lot of her strings naturally make her go airborne, like her forward 4, her stand 4, I believe her 2-3-3, and other strings. So she doesn't always have to jump to lose that crushing blow. So if she does like forward 4 or something like that and then tries to throw you, you don't have to be wary of the crushing blow at that point. But just keep that in mind. If the Mileena's running away, throwing sides at you, stuff like that, and then tries to go in with a forward throw, either be trying to duck or jump, or at the very least tech forward throw, because you do not want to eat that big 30%. It's better to just take the hit versus her and break in a lot of situations due to her low unbreakable damage. The distance you should be playing versus Mileena completely depends on your character and life leader deficit. Her projectile does 7%, so she's going to slightly outzone most of the cast, since the average fireball damage is 6%. However, if you have a life leader or better projectile, zoning versus her could be favorable, but if not, you're generally going to want to go in against Mileena. Make sure you watch out for telekick though if you're trying to zone her. Keep in mind, unlike MKX or Highborn Katana, there is no mind game on telekick, so look for a big punish right away when you block it. Now let's go over some general mind games and strategies that Mileena players use. A big one is doing size on block. This is a very strong block pressure because it does some chip and resets neutral on block. It is a true block string off of some things like 4-3 and 4-2. However, do not let her get away with it off of 2-3-3 or even her main mid string, which is back 1-1. You can actually duck the first size and then punish before the meter burn comes out. Or spawns jab is short. Hold on, let me try another button. There we go. You should be able to punish that with every character's jab, besides maybe a few like spawn, but otherwise you can substitute it with a 10 or 11 frame button with a bit more range. Now this kind of doubles over as like a sort of option select, because Mileena has entered to her back one string. I believe I have it on 3 here. It's back 1-1-2. Yep. And this is a safe way for her to end that string with pushback. But as you can see, the last hit is a high. So if you're ducking the size, you can kind of double down and duck that at the same time, in which case she becomes punishable. And in that case, you can punish with the same thing you were punishing Sai with, or you could actually get a down 2 crushing blow for even bigger damage. Characters that are great versus Mileena include Cetrion, Potokan, and Cabal. Cabal because, again, Mileena has very weak anti-airs, and Cabal is one of the strongest jumping characters in the game. Potokan because he completely out-neutrals her, and because he has a health advantage and a damage advantage. Cetrion because she completely outzones Mileena, so Mileena has to constantly come in, and she just has to play right into Cetrion's game. Before I end the guide, I'd like to show a couple advanced things versus Mileena. One thing that you'll see Mileena players enforce is a mix-up with their 1-1 string that can end with either a grab or mid. One thing I've discovered is that if you treat the mid like something you're flawless blocking, you can actually option select and cover both options. It's tricky to do 10 out of 10 times, but since it's such a low reward, high risk mix-up for Mileena, the fact that we can cover both most of the time with practice pretty much makes the mix-up obsolete. Now I've set it to random hidden playback with both options, using the record function. So I don't know which option she's going to do, but I'm going to try to punch both at the same time. Ooh, my share button came up. There we go. Punish that with the jab. See, the mid is -10. And the grab, obviously, it's grab. It's very punishable. So with proper practice, you can actually cover both. Again, just treat it like you're flawless blocking the mid. Let go of block and then block again as soon as the mid is going to hit. It just takes some practice. It's a very advanced technique. If you play Mileena's on Combat League, you'll notice it's a mix-up that they love to enforce, you know, because the jab is obviously a very quick string, 1-1. So they like to throw in that mix-up at the end, especially to close out games. So if you get this down, you're going to be shutting down a lot of lower-level Mileenas, and even high-level Mileenas will throw this in from time to time, so it's a very good thing to practice. Another mix-up that Mileena players like to enforce is her sweep and her back 2, since one's a low and one's overhead. Obviously, if you look at the startup at the bottom, the sweep is 12 frames, the overhead is 25, so against Mileena, you want to block low and then react to the back 2, and once you see the moves enough, you'll be able to block the overhead on reaction and eliminate that mix-up pretty much entirely. One more advanced technique that I'd like to show, and this is actually using a different move that I didn't have equipped earlier, is some Mileena players, they like to use loci, and they will mix you up with forward 4 loci or forward 4-3. The reason this works is because the 3 hit in forward 4-3 is actually an overhead, and loci is obviously a low. I mean, it's in the name, and you might think that's a good mix-up, right? Because loci, it's hard to punish for a lot of the cast, while meter burn loci, it's hard to punish for a lot of the cast. But there's actually a 2-frame difference between the overhead and low here, and she can't mix up the timing, obviously, since it's in a string. So if you use the record function and put one as forward 4-3 and one as forward loci, and then put random hidden playback, you can actually practice against it and block the mix-up pretty much every time. So I've done that myself. And let's see if I can block it successfully. So the idea is you want to get comfortable with when forward 4-3 hits, and then as soon as that hits, you want to block low. So the community tends to call that fuzzy guarding, and I'm going to try it here. There, I got hit. It's all about getting comfortable with the overhead, because once you know exactly when the overhead hits, you just block low from there. Ooh, I got hit there. See, I've been hit a few times, but this is actually not something I've really practiced too much. I know about the technique, but Mileena's not the most used character, so it's not something I've practiced often. But as you can see, my success rate is, even though I don't practice it, is very high. Because it's not the hardest mix-up to block, because again, she has to do it mid-string, so she cannot vary the timing. So with some practice, it's very easy to block. Similar to Gearus' 111 and 1-1 Sand Trap. That's going to be it for my Mileena guide. You can also check out all things shown in this video in the text version via the link in the description. If you liked this video, please leave a like or comment below with your thoughts. See ya.
Fight!